Hey, today I'm going to be showing you my second grade curriculum picks. Today I'm excited to show you guys what I have picked out for this boy for his second grade year of school. I by no means am saying that this is the curriculum you should use for your second grade, or this is just what I have picked for this child. And I hope you can get some ideas from it and it's helpful for you. So I'm going to go ahead and start with language arts. So first of all, for handwriting, I have the Good and the Beautiful handwriting here, level 2. And this is going through and working more on print. And then every page also has some kind of activity at the bottom. And I'm sure if you guys are familiar with Good and Beautiful, you're used to that. But it still is handwriting, but it's some kind of activity, the bottom half of the page, which my boys always enjoy and look forward to that. And yes, I printed this myself and bind it with a Pro Click binder. For his language arts, we're going to be doing the Good and the Beautiful language arts level 2. And I put this in 2 books because I couldn't fit it all in one binder. And whenever we move to the second half, I'll move the cover over just to help protect it. And that is how we will do that. Along with the Good and Beautiful level 2 is these 3 books here. So it's Readers, Molly and the Falcon, Wesley and the Wolves, and then this is the Reading Booster C cards. And just a note, if you're printing this yourself, I got sticker paper and printed the stickers on here myself. However, they're not perforated, so we have to cut them out with the scissors. So I was thinking about going through and cutting them all out ahead of time and just putting them in a little baggie. That way it's easier to grab and go and stick it on the pages once he's completed them. So yeah. All right, and then we also have my Third Nature Reader. This is the physical book. I had gotten this ahead of time. And this is just stories that go along with the course book that learn the same phonetic, or that go over the same phonetic sounds they're learning in the course book. And yeah, so it goes along with the readers and the course book. Okay, also in the language arts category is Explode the Code. Last year he did book 2, and this year we will go to book 3. We might go to book 4 also during this year. We'll see how fast he works through this. But this is just independent work for him, something that he can do on his own mostly, and it is taking apart words and putting them back together and just working with phonetics. Okay, this is something I had left from my older boys when they were this age. It's First Language Lessons for the Well-Trained Mind, level 2. So he has not done level 1 of this, but this child learns really well doing stuff orally, and that is a lot of what this book is. It doesn't come with a workbook. It does have some dictation and narration and stuff like that mixed in here. It's a lot of questions and memorizing like different parts of speech and grammar. One part I really want to work on with him is narration and dictation out of here, and I think that'd be really good for this child. And this style of like oral and auditory learning I think will work really well for this child. This is test prep for level 2, and this is also left over from older brothers. This is some of the perks of having your third child you're homeschooling. They had done some of the test prep work in here, but a lot of it is still empty, and so I will probably just use bits and pieces of it with him. And sometimes I just use it more as a workbook than actually like testing him, but either way it's a good format for him to get used to, like filling in the little circle and stuff like that. All right, I like to go along with language arts is Readers. So this here is Treehouse Town. It's a game and a 2-pack book, and this is level 2B. So we probably won't get to this till the second half of school year, not till like January. And then this here is a game for like parts of speech. All right, and then these are just some readers that are at his level. This here is the beginner Bible, and he started this one last year in 1st grade, and we're not super far here into it, but he has got into it some, so we will just continue working on this. It's a fat book. And then these are just a couple other readers that I just have on hand for his level. So Father Bear, Super Twins, this is an Eyewitness Reader, level 2, Puppets, level 2, Frog and Toad. And the next couple here are from the Good and the Beautiful. This is Sue in All Seasons. This is kind of the level that it is. It has some writing and some pictures, and so it's a good level for a second grader. This is Maria's Many Colors, Helen Keller, Into the Light, A Wolf in the North Woods. So he is not at the stage where he can go off and read on his own, so those will be books that he reads and I have to listen to him, or occasionally have an older brother listen to him, but mostly he reads to me. Okay, the next category is math, and we are currently working through Saxon level 5-4, which is like a 4th grade level. This boy does really good with math. He has a math brain and his numbers just click for him really easily. So we started this at the end of first grade, and he is into about lesson 20. This is the teacher's manual, and it has some of the solutions mixed in there, which I really like. And then this is the student book. And like I said, we're about in lesson 20, and we haven't hit multiplication yet in here, but he does know his multiplication facts about 90%, and we are working on the last little bit. I'll show you here a resource I'm using in a minute. When we hit multiplication and other things in here, if it gets too hard, we will just slow down on this, and maybe I'll pick up like Math with Confidence, or possibly The Good and Beautiful, but I'm leaning towards Math with Confidence just because I want to try it out. I'll test him in and see what level he's at. Do some of that, maybe mix the two programs, or maybe just completely go to that program. I don't know. But for now, we're happy with Saxon. It's working really well for him. It's black and white, it's no frills, and he does the work. He can do like the review parts on his own. He just needs my help with the new part, and that has worked really well for him since math comes so easy for him. So the resource I'm using right now for him, I bought the PDF and printed it. Here in Cambodia, you can get stuff printed easily that's black and white for very cheap at a print shop, and then they put a big staples in it and duct tape it, and so put a clear plastic cover on the front. And so it's a very cheap way to get, if you do PDFs that are black and white, it's easy to get them printed here, which is nice, because bringing stuff in suitcases, bringing books in suitcases gets heavy fast. Anyway, this is like a 10-week program where you go through and work on the different multiplication families, and it helps them to really understand the reasoning behind multiplication. It helps it stick in their minds. And so we're working on this through him right now during summertime, and I think we'll have it about finished up when school starts. If not, we'll just keep going. But it's been really fun playing the games in here, and he has enjoyed doing the games with me. So that the worksheets are really easy for him. He just flies through them that are in here, and so that's why I think he would like Math with Confidence, because of the games. The only thing is Math Confidence is all black and white, and I like stuff that's like colorful and creative, and like it's hard for me to pick up a math book that's all black and white and like read through all the directions for me to tell me how to teach the lesson, how to play the games, and all that stuff. I'm not completely sure yet what we'll do if Saxon ends up getting too hard too fast, but I do know that we like this here part by Kate with Snow, which is also the same lady who wrote Math with Confidence. So for now, we're doing Saxon, and then if it gets too hard, we'll slow down and maybe bring in a different math resource, and I'm not totally sure what that will be yet, but we'll see. Okay, next of all is science, and I am a really big fan of The Good and the Beautiful. They're Little Hearts and Hands science courses. We did 2 of them in the years past, and this year we are going to do Little Hearts and Hands Sparks and Stars, so space. So I'm excited to do that with these. This is a big book of stories, and then this here is the parent guide, and it goes through and has different things. Some of the courses have like little videos you watch, some have just an audio thing you listen to, and the child has like a path they have to follow along with. And yeah, they have these little cutouts in the back. They pop out and you fold them, and they're like stand up on the page. You follow along as you listen to the audio thing. Here they even give you instructions how to do it. So I have really liked these in the past, and this works really well for kids under 3rd grade. I think it's just done really well. So I'll do this with him and his little brother, who will be in kindergarten. And then I also have master books, this Life for Beginners. I did this with his older brothers, and so I have this left. So I will we just do it kind of as a read aloud. Sometimes I'll make copies of the work pages, that way I can save it for the next child. But yeah, so we will either do this one, or I might get the dinosaur one, Little Hearts and Hands from The Good and the Beautiful. That's the only Little Heart and Hand level that we haven't done yet, so and print it out myself. Because I already have this one though, and the lessons in here are really short, we may go to this, and if we get done with this, then go and buy that other one. We'll see. I don't know. I have options. Sometimes when January and February hits and you're just ready to like switch things up, then it's nice to have another option. For example, the Little Hearts and Hands, the science one, to bring in something new and different. One thing we do in our school is Fun Fridays, and so some of these resources here we will use just on Fridays, and we skip some of his other, like maybe he will skip, like if it's a hard math lesson, and I'll find a different resource that's something like fun, like a game or something, do that on Friday for his math. Same with language arts. And then he'll have, I call it their Friday stack. And so his older brothers have it, and he'll have it too. This here is hilarious jokes for 7-year-olds. And so it just has different jokes in it. And this here is Lollipop Logic, and it's what it says it is, logic. This here I bought off Amazon. I don't know yet if we'll like it or not, but it's another logic work for gritty kids, and it's for ages 8 to 12. And so I thought him and his 2 older brothers could do it, and I might make copies and they can share. And I think he'll really enjoy having something that he can do with his older brothers, because he will be turning 8 this school year, and then his older brothers are 11, turning 12 this next school year. So they can do that and have one thing that they can do together on Fridays, and I think he will really love it. And then this here is Critical and Creative Grade 2. I have this left over from my older boys, and I just pick random pages in here. We do not do near the whole book. We don't work from front to back. We just pick one that looks interesting and do it. This here is not my favorite resource, but since I have it, I will use it and add it to his stack for Fridays. Okay, and then this here is part of his stack. I just didn't get it picked up. It was still there, but it's Dr. Doolittle's. It's associative reasoning activities, so it has like a little riddle, and they have to say the answer. And when I did this with my older boys, they loved it, and I think this one will too. Okay, and then kind of my big literature, history Bible literature resource for him is going to be Sunlight. If you guys have been around here, you know we're big Sunlight fans. We love read-alouds, we love stories, and we love cuddling together on this couch here and reading. Actually, with my second grader and my preschooler, they do their core together, and we do it at bedtime because I just don't have time during my day to read their stories to them. And at bedtime, they are really calm and quiet. We like to snuggle together and read their stories, and they love it, and I love it. It's become a really special bonding time together. And then during the day, I do the Sunlight core with my older boys, and my second grader usually sits in and listens too. His comprehension, like listening to stuff orally, is really high. And so he gets quite a bit out of it. He doesn't understand everything, but he's getting a lot of read-alouds that way. So the core that I do with him and my kindergartner is going to be Sunlight Level K, but this is their old one. I know now they switched it up, and so this one here might, some of the books are like now spread out in different of the cores, and yeah. Anyway, this is what I have, so it's what I'm going to use. I've had it it's been around for years. So I will show you a couple of the books. The Bible story, the Bible part that we'll be using is the Igemeyer's Bible Story book, and this is a really fat one, and the Sunlight Guide tells you which stories to read. You read through it chronologically. It's like a Bible story, goes through the Bible, but told for stories, and it has a lot of stories in here that other children's Bible story books don't have, but I don't think you read all of it, you just read some of it. So some of the history core books that go with my old Level K. I know these are spread out now differently, but this is the Living Long Ago. This is the Usborne Children's Encyclopedia. This here is the story one, James Herriot Treasury for Children. And this one here is the Usborne Time Traveler book, and I think this one is used in 2 different Sunlight cores. And then some of the books that are used in this core is The Treasury of Mother Goose. I'm not sure if this is the right one, but it's the one I have, so it's the one we're going to use. It has some read-alouds in here. This is the Boxcar Children. Now we have quite a few of the read-alouds on Audible, and my boys like to listen to that at bedtime as they fall asleep, and so they're quite familiar with this story. So I may bump it up and like read book 2 if I can find it. The 100 Dresses in Grandma's Attic. This book, when I read it aloud to my older boys, they did not enjoy it, and I remember I didn't like it either. So I may swap out this book for something else that we find. Little House in the Big Woods. Again, we have this one on Audible. 20 and 10. The House at Pooh Corner. And I actually have the series. I think there's 4 or 5 in the series, and I have the whole one. So if we enjoy this, I'll go ahead and read some of the others since we have a couple of the other books on Audible. And this is My Father's Dragon, Dolphin Treasure and Dolphin Adventure. These are thin little books, and I remember my older boys really enjoyed those. The Story About Ping. These are some fun picture books. Richard Scarry, Please and Thank You book, and Curious George. And I don't know if it was his whole book that was recommended by Sunlight or his one story out of here, but this is what I have. And then a few more chapter books, and we have most of these on Audible. So we'll just be listening to them on Audible. Again, they have heard them multiple times before. But Ramona and Quimby, which I think the one in the Sunlight core is Ramona and Beez's, but we have both of those on Audible, so it's fine. And then these here are Ralph S. Mouse series, and my boys love these. Even my little guy, the guy that's going into kindergarten, he loves these too. And we have them on Audible, and they re-listen and re-listen to them. But this is Ralph S. Mouse, Ralph and the Motorcycle, and Runaway Ralph. And then these are a couple extra that are not part of Sunlight, but since we have so many of those on Audible and I've heard them before, I thought it'd be fun to add in something that these boys have not heard. Their older brothers did hear these. I've read them before, but these 2 are the first 2 books in the Secret of the Hidden Scroll series, and these are kind of like Magic Treehouse, but like a Christian perspective. And this is book 1, The Beginning. This is book 2, Race to the Ark. Sarah, Plain and Tall. This is just a thin book with some pictures. And then I have 2 Magic Treehouse books. Dinosaurs Before Dark and Lions at Lunchtime. A Pet Rescue Adventure. Sammy the Shy Kitten. This one here is Cappy Boppy. And this one here is actually a graphic novel about Helen Keller, and Creed in his stack of readers is reading a book about Helen Keller, so I thought it might be fun to read this one also to go with it. Okay, and very last of all, I try to read through these kinds of books one time each school year, and you don't need this many. I just collected them over the years and used them with their older brothers, and the older brothers now kind of onto the next level of a couple of these, but these two I'll be reading with him and his younger brother. This is Before I Was Born. It's for ages 5 to 8. This one here is called God Made All of Me. My Body is Private. And this one here is Good Pictures, Bad Pictures. All right, and then I just have some flashcards here. This here is months of the year. This child does not quite have months of the year memorized, and so that is something I'm going to make a point of working this year with him. And these are big laminated flashcards that we can put around on the floor, and he can jump on them. He can try to put them in order on the floor. We can play all kinds of things with these to help him get to memorize them. We will watch YouTube songs where they sing these, and yeah, like that. Okay, where we live here, the local language is Khmer, so we will be continuing to study Khmer. I just have a couple little resources. I don't have a curriculum or anything like that, and so we'll continue to work with those resources. And then he will be joining a PE class. We have a homeschool group here that we do PE class, so we'll be joining that. And then we also be using a library through a local school here. They have a homeschool program. We can use their library, and possibly I will sign him up for a class. I'm not sure yet. That's a little bit further off in the fall when we would do that. And so he may be joining like swimming or soccer or something like that. We'll see. All right, and very last thing I wanted to add is since the Sunlight, we have done a lot of the read alouds. We've heard them already. They listen to them in Audible and repeat. I may end up adding in Rachel from Seven and All. She came out with, like, she did Curious Kinder like for a kindergartner, and then she came out with like a literature program for a first grader. And so I might get that one and print it and do it with him and my kindergartner just to add in some more books. We would do it at bedtime if we did it, mostly for the literature part. But first of all, I want to try what I have and see how it goes, and we can add that in later throughout the school year. And then also over the summer, we did a Shakespeare study from Read Aloud Revival. It's called Shakespeare Summer, and this child really enjoyed it. He enjoyed the video aspect. He liked trying to understand the story. And then Sarah McKenzie, the author of it, she had little PDFs you could print off with little like people that you could act out the story. And he really enjoyed that part. He especially liked being able to act out the story. So it would be fun to find some read alouds where I could find some little printable people that he could act out different stories when I read the stories to him, whether it's picture books or read alouds, whatever. And then as a family, we are doing picture books around the world. I have the teacher's guide for 1 and 2 here. We, over the summer, are doing level 1 and we're almost done with it. And so we will just start on level 2. And I'm guessing it's something we would do just on Fridays and work through it really slowly, which is just fine. But this is kind of like geography and also culture. But it has a big maps book that goes with it. And then it has a whole stack of picture books for the different countries that you study. And it also has some notebooking for them to do. So in the back of the teacher's guide is things you print out, like a map and a flag and some of the animals that live there. And then I have my children paste it in. And last year for he was in first grade, I had him just write like a word about it. This year I think I'm going to try to have him do a sentence. We'll see how it goes. If he needs to, I can write it and then he copy it. Like I'll write it on a whiteboard and he copy it onto his book. But yeah, so we do a little bit of notebooking with that. And then this child loves to play games. He plays a lot of like Dutch Blitz and Scum and Monopoly, and he's playing with his older brothers, and so that also has helped him a lot, I think, with his number sense. All right, that is all I have for my second grader. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing it. Comment down below what your second grader is doing. Give this video a thumbs up. Help it to be promoted so other people see it. And come back because I'm going to be coming out with what my upcoming 6th graders curriculum will be using and my upcoming kindergartner. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.